Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am excited for today's video because I'm just lost for words, but I'm just excited for today's video. But before I get into this, let me introduce myself just in case somebody is tuning in for the very first time. Hello, my name is NESHA. Welcome to today's video. Welcome to my channel. I hope by the end of this video you like what you see, vibing with your girl, and end up subscribing to the channel. It's free 99. Okay. And pretty much what I do on my channel, I love makeup tutorials. I'm an old school YouTuber, so I'm still kind of true to these makeup tutorials. I like to show people the uses of using your palettes and doing multiple looks using palettes, whether if it's old or new. I love grabbing a palette and just being inspired by the color story and just pretty much challenging myself to see how many looks I can create using, one particular palette. So I do that a lot here on my channel. So if that's something you're into, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And of course, I do other beauty content as well, where it has makeup hauls, new product talk. Like if you're a beauty lover, this is definitely going to be a go-to channel for you in my opinion. So like I said, by the end of this video, if you like me, like the vibes, go ahead and explore a little bit more on the channel and see what other videos I have available for you. So let's go ahead and get into this video. This is going to be actually my first time doing this video. I've seen other YouTubers and stuff do stuff like this, but they call them, they call them project plan, or no, project pan. So pretty much where they want to use up an item to hit pan. So I know with the amount of palettes and stuff that I have, that's not going to happen for me to be hitting any pans when it comes to my palettes. But what I do want to start doing is getting more uses out of the palettes that I do have. Y'all know I have a really big palette collection. So some of these palettes that I'm going to show you guys, I've never used. It's been in my collection forever. Or some of these palettes I've used like once and haven't used it again like 2-3 years later. Some of these palettes might be expired, but that's not your business. That's my business. This is my eyes. I bought them, she gonna use them. The quality is still giving, and I'm not having no type of allergic reaction to the eyes. I'm still gonna use these expired palettes if any of these are expired, so I just wanna put that out there, okay? I pay my coins for these, okay? So they're gonna be with me forever. But this is also gonna help me pretty much kind of predict and kind of like plan out on using different palettes to rotate, so that way I won't get stuck onto using one palette or using a palette because it's a new release and it's been talked about, and I forget about all the old new classic stuff that I haven't used in my collection. So I will be doing these monthly, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy these. Pretty much what I'm going to do in these videos, I'm going to pull out palettes that I would like to use for the month, whatever month that I present these palettes for. Now I am not I'm looking at my palette right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I grabbed way more than expected, but I have a realistic mind frame that I know I'm not going to use all these palettes within 1 month. These are just like a planning to hopefully be able to gravitate and use some of these palettes, because like I said, some of these might be on the old side that I haven't used in forever. Some of these are just new in my collection that I haven't used at all, and some just new releases that I'm just excited to go ahead and play with. So enough for the rambling. I'm going to go ahead and get into the video. This is going to be called my monthly project palette planning. Let's go ahead and get started. So how I'm going to do this, I'm going to show you guys each palette that I decided to pull out for the month of June, and then I will give my mini prediction on how many looks I want to do on each palette before I put it in my retirement home. And I will keep doing this every single month till I get the fulfillment of the palettes. That way I can come back next month and see how I did, see if I need to remove something from the collection to add, subtract, or whatever. So we'll see how this goes. So like I said, I overdid it this month on purpose because I was excited, and I was like, it was so many palettes that I wanted to pick because it's summertime, so I'm here for the bright and colorful looks. So I just grabbed palettes, y'all. So let me go ahead and just grab off the top, starting off with the first palette that I plan on using for the month of June. This is the Jam Rock pastel palette by Plan and Makeup by Yolando. This is a newer palette in my collection. I got her this year, I want to say last month. Look at this beautiful color story. So I really don't know how many looks I want to do using this particular palette. I'm just gonna say roughly on the top of my head about a good 5 looks I want to do using this palette. But what I do want to do is to at least start my 5 looks train going on for this palette. So hopefully I'll have the chance to do like 1 or 2 looks for June, and then maybe throughout July I can finish up the 5 looks that I want to do using this palette. All right, the next one is the BH Sweet Shop Sugar Cone palette. I think honestly I used this palette one time. Barely there's any imprint in the eyeshadows, so I want to put some imprints on these eyeshadows. Of course I know I'm not going to hit any pans on these, but I want to make this palette look like it's been used, like take full advantage of this. It's a very beautiful neutral palette, so I do plan on, let's see, how many looks do I want to do using this palette before I put her in the retirement home for this year. I am going to shoot for 4 looks using this palette. Next we have an old school classic palette from ColourPop. This was the collaboration with Shayla, and here is this pretty color story of this palette. Y'all, I honestly think I've only used this palette once. Between 4 to 5 looks using this palette. I'm a little ashamed on this, y'all. I had this palette for a long time, for about like 3 to 4 years. I never used her, so definitely want to put some use in her. This is the Alyssa Edwards palette, and this is the color story for this. I would like to do about a good 5 looks using this palette. I feel like I want to do more, but I'm gonna stick to 5 for now. If I want to do more, then I will later, you know, increase the numbers on using this palette, but we will see. But 5 for now. Here is a brand new palette. I don't even think you guys seen the haul yet for this, but y'all will probably see it sometime this week. But this is the new Hank and Henry palette. So y'all know I definitely want to take full advantage of this and use her. And I have a pretty high number using this palette because I just fell in love with this color story, and I just love Hank and Henry quality of eyeshadows in general. So I think I'm gonna do between, let's say, a good 5 to 6 looks using this palette. All right, this is a newer palette that I just got recently. Again, you guys will see this in my recent haul, or my newest haul I should say, that's coming up soon. This is the Scooby-Doo palette. All right, and here is the pretty colorful story for this one. This is so gorgeous, y'all. Between 3 to 5 looks using this palette because the color story is absolutely beautiful. And this one is actually new to the family as well. I've never used her. This is the ColourPop palette. Did this eyeshadow just completely fall? Y'all, these ColourPop palettes are known for doing that. That's the only thing I have to discredit when it comes to these ColourPop palettes. Like, their eyeshadows always popping out. But this is the exclusive line with Target. So this is like a pretty green monochromatic palette. So I definitely want to take advantage and do a couple of looks using this palette. So I'm looking at the dark, rich color that's in here. I will probably do 2 to 3 looks using this particular palette. Here is another new palette to the collection. This is the Scooby-Doo palette. This is the part 2 drop from Glamlight, and she is so cute. You guys will see this in the haul as well. Here is the color story for this palette. I'm just gonna say randomly on the top of my head, I want to shoot for at least 5 looks. I have a feeling I might do more, but I'm gonna stick to at least 5 before putting her in the retirement home. Next we have the Sunset palette by Color Rain. I've already used her, I think last month or a couple of months back, and this is what started this whole project planning. I think I did it in one of my vlogs, and I kind of like picked out some palettes that I would like to use for that month, and that was back in what, 2 months ago, and I didn't follow plan. So I was like, maybe I need to make a full-on dedicated video to make sure that I stick to what I want to actually use, because I was like all over everywhere with that money, and I was just like, why did I not use that palette? I forgot about this palette. So hopefully this will help me stay focused on using variety of different palettes, so that way, like I said, I can get more uses out of my actual palette. So I've already did a look using this one and fell in love. This was my first time using this brand and I fell in love with the quality. So I do want to do a couple more looks using this palette before I put her in retirement home for this year. So let's shoot for at least 3 more looks using this palette, because I don't want all the looks to look the same, but I kind of had some ideas on how I can kind of make this look a little different. So 3 more looks using this palette, so 4 looks in total. This palette right here is a favorite of mine. This is by the brand Cosmic Brushes, and this is Royal Rose. I did 1 look using this palette and I haven't touched her since, so I definitely want to come back and do some more looks. I'm shooting a high number for this one because I really love this color story in this palette, so I'm gonna shoot for at least probably 6 looks using this palette before I put her in retirement, because she was really one of my favorites. All right, next, this is another new palette that I got. You guys will see in my recent haul. This is by the brand My Los Angeles and Mia Los Angeles. This is the sister brand to the Hank and Henry, and this one is called Pillow Princess. It's a really cute pink monochromatic palette, so I definitely want to try this palette out, so it gives me the chance to try out this brand as well. So I'm probably going to shoot for at least 2 to 3 looks using this palette. Here is another new one. See, look, I told you I got a lot of new palettes. I was like, we gotta do some planning, okay? This is the Sigma palette by this YouTuber. I hate trying to pronounce her name because I feel like I always pronounce it, but Anouk, I think is how you pronounce it. She had a collaboration palette with Sigma, and this color story is absolutely beautiful. I think I've already filmed a look so far that you guys have not seen yet. So I am shooting for a high number with this palette because I love the color story of this and just the quality of these eyeshadows. Like, you have a good split down the middle, a neutral side, and then these really pretty like colored shades that are not like normal. Like, we got gray tones in here mixed with the neutrals, and then a little splash of like purple and this random 2 blue shades. So I'm definitely here for it. So I'm gonna say probably about a good 5 to 6 looks using this palette. Next, I'm so mad at myself because I bought this palette a long time ago and I kept putting on my to-do list to do a look using this palette, and I have yet to do something with this one, and that is the e.l.f. and American Eagle collaboration. Y'all, this palette is so beautiful. I've done some finger swatches and the quality is really good, but I haven't done anything using this palette, so we're gonna take advantage of her for this month. So how many looks in general do I want to do with her, because these colors are really different. I don't want to put a high number on this because I feel like I'm not going to use her that often, but let's shoot for a good 3 to 4 looks using this palette. All right, I already started with this palette. This was also part of my little vlog prediction of what I wanted to use. This is the Ace Beauty Aura, and I've only done 1 look using this palette, and she is gorgeous. I told myself the moment I used it, I was like, oh, I'm definitely coming back, I'm coming back. I didn't come back. So I'm coming back this month, and I want to do a couple more looks using this palette. So being that I already did 1, I want to do at least, because it's a couple shades that I want to play with and a couple of color story that's like playing in my head right now. So let's say 4 more looks using this palette, so it would be 5 looks in total. Next, we got the Notepad palette by Crown Case. This is the orange monochromatic one. She is absolutely gorgeous. I think I've used her once, and that's sad. I've only used her once, I think. Yes, once, or either a shy twice. Very quite shy twice. So the number I am shooting for this palette, let's see if I can get a good 3 to 4 looks. Yeah, about good 3 to 4 looks without my looks looking so similar and the same using this palette. All right, so that was the second batch of my palette. So let's go ahead and move on to my 3rd batch. All right, so we're moving on to the last batch, and is too big for me to pick up. I'm praying I didn't break any eyeshadows. I'm a hot mess, you guys. Okay, all right, so I've done a look already using this palette, and this was actually a request for me to use this palette to do more looks. So I was like, I definitely have to put this in rotation for this month because it was requested. You guys want to see more looks using this palette. So this is the Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. I do have a total of 2 looks available on this channel using this palette. So I really fell in love with this palette. Like the quality, the color story, it's neutral. You know I like neutrals as well. Although I love me some colors, but I do love a good neutral palette, and this is a really good classic neutral palette. So my prediction, how many looks I want to do using this palette, let's shoot for about a good, I want to do, oh, this is so hard because it's these little pop colors that I want to use each one of them on their own and do like something with this, because it's just, I feel like I need to. 4 to 5 more looks. 4 to 5 more looks using this palette. Okay, all right, this is one of the newest Ace palettes. I love the color story of this one, you guys. Look at her. She is a pretty yellow and then a pop of like neutral shades in here. The amount of looks I want to do using this palette, let's shoot for about a good 4 to 5. 4 to 5, yes, 4 to 5. All right, so this is part of my Birthstone Zodiac series that I have going on for my channel. So this is the bad side of Zodiac. This is the Air palette by Melt. I have done 1 look so far using this palette. So for this month, being that this is the season for Gemini, because they're part of the air element, I would like to do, I want to say 2 looks using this palette, because I know I'm going to use her again towards the next Zodiac season, which is going to be Libra. So let's do 2 more looks this month, hopefully using this palette. And since we own Zodiac and Birthstone talk, let's go ahead and knock these palettes out the way. Now I do have 2 palettes that will be added to this, and that is my Cancer palettes from She Glam and Care Beauty. I have not received them yet in the mail, so I'm just waiting for those. So you guys are not going to see them revealed or talked about in this video, but I will be using those in my prediction plan as well for the month of June. But this is going to be the Care Beauty Gemini palette, and I really haven't decided on how many looks. She's a very different color story. Like I thought I was going to do like an all pink look, but I swatched that pink and it's very light on my complexion. So I don't know. I think maybe a good 3 to 4 looks using this palette. So I do want to do like a pink look. I want to do something with that blue by itself. I do want to do a little bit of neutral with these shades in here, and then maybe something with this pretty like yellow gold. And this is the She Glam Gemini palette. Y'all know how excited I was using this one. Yes, I've already done a look so far using this palette. We are going to be shooting for about a good 3 to 4 looks using this palette, because the color story is colorful and it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and I just want to do so many looks. Like I feel like every eyeshadow in here deserves to be represented on my eyelid by itself, because that's how beautiful this palette is. So we will see how many looks I'm going to get in. I've already done a couple of looks so far using this palette, but I feel like she's not ready to be put back on the shelf yet. So that is the Juvia Deuce palette. So here is the colorful, beautiful color story of this. And she's a classic, so she's definitely giving throwback vibes. So I would like to shoot for, how many looks I've done? I've done 2 so far, and I think they were uploaded a couple of months ago, I think. Let's shoot for, I want to do at least 2 more looks using this palette, so that way it would be 4 looks. And I'm happy because I'm seeing some imprint and, you know, some dents being put into this palette, because when I first grabbed this, she was like very shy of like any brushes like being put on here. So definitely want to do at least 2, maybe 3 maybe 3 more looks using this palette. Going in with the 123 Sesame Street palette. I can't even open this one. This one I was very disappointed when it came to like opening. I don't know, I feel like Wet n Wild kind of makes it a little bit too cheap, and this is their usual like packaging, but I don't know, it was something different about this palette. Like, it was really hard and very fragile. So some shadows have broken already and I have yet to use her. You can see, never used her, didn't even do a figure swatch whatsoever. So I don't know how many looks I want to do using this palette. Off the top of my head, it might change, but I'm gonna shoot for, let's say, between 4 to 5 looks using this palette. This one, y'all, I'm not ready to put her in retirement yet. I said it the last time I used it, but this is the Odin's Eye Planet Spirit palette. I have did 3 looks so far using her and I am not done to put her down. So I really love the quality of it. This was my first time using anything from this particular brand. So I will be shooting for about a good 2 more looks using this palette, and then I will put her up because I do need to use the other palettes that was presented in this collection. It's just something about this color story was just so beautiful. I want to use every shade on the eye, let it get their own little shine, you know. So I'm gonna say 2 more looks. It might change, it might go up, but I don't know. But it's something about this palette, you guys. It's becoming like definitely one of my favorites. Whew, we're almost done, y'all. I know, I told you I had grabbed a lot of palettes, and the more I'm looking and going through, I'm like, girl, ain't no way you're gonna go through all these palettes for this month. But let's just, you know, let's think positive. All right, so the next palette is another Odin's Eye palette. This is the Sea Talk palette. I have yet to use this one, but I do like the color story. This was like my second favorite from the collection that I wanted to use. So here she is. I would like to shoot for about a good 5 looks using this palette because I feel like she's definitely going to be different. I've already started with this palette. I've done 2 looks, and that is the Blend Bunny All Done Up palette. I would like to do at least 2 more looks, about 2 to 3 more looks using this palette before I put her in retirement. Y'all, I'm so mad. This palette, I've got this in February. I kept saying every single month that I was going to do something with this palette, and I have yet to do anything with this palette. I've been saying this since February. It is June, you guys, so we gotta start somewhere. Okay, so all right, I promise for this month, look at this color story. This color story is so pretty. Like, I don't know why I haven't like grabbed this like right away. I think it's just because it gets lost in the where my other palettes is at. So that's why these palettes are gonna be put aside in another spot, so that way I can make sure that I am grabbing these palettes to use. So this palette, I want to do a lot of looks, a lot. I have a high number for this. I'm probably going to be doing about a good 6 looks using this palette because I've already have planned it out, the color story and the looks using this palette, because like I said, I was supposed to do this a whole 3-4 months ago. I can't do the math, 3 months ago, and I have planned all my looks out because this is the week that I was doing like 1 week 1 palette. I did it with the Juvia, I did it with the Morphe palette, I did it with the Jackie Aina palette. So this was going to be like the next one, the 1 week 1 palette. So I had planned my looks out and like the color stories and what I wanted to combine, and I didn't do anything yet. So she gonna be coming soon, okay? I promise you guys, we're gonna do something, okay? Ooh, I want to go back into this palette and do a little some. This is the Juvia Culture palette. I've done, I think, 2 looks using this palette, but I did them like last year, so I haven't touched her since. So definitely want to come back and revisit her. This is such a beautiful color story. I honestly want to say this is my favorite palette from, let's see, I want to do a look for every row. How about that? How many rows is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows. Okay, so we're going to do 6 looks using this palette. All right, I want to do some purple looks. So I grabbed this palette. This is the Revolution palette. This was the limited edition palette. This is the Forever Flawless one, and this is the Amethyst one. The outside is gorgeous, the inside is even more beautiful. Here is the wide ranges of purple shades in here. My prediction of how many looks I'm going to do using this palette, let's shoot for about a good 4 to 5 looks using this palette, because there's a lot of good deep shades in here and just pretty shades in general that I can do so much with. And then these pretty like pop of metallics. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I'm ready to do some cut crease using this palette right away. 4 to 5 looks. Yeah, 4 to 5, yeah. All right, this is the Too Faced Italian Spritz palette. I need to use her, you guys. I bought her this year, and I think I have yet to do a look using her. No, I take that back. I did one look, but it has not been uploaded yet, so we gonna do some looks using this palette. So here is the colorful story of this. This was actually my favorite color story Too Faced have came out with, because I was like, what? Too Faced dipping and dabbing into color. But I will say, going off my first impression using her, the shades are not that vibrant of how they appear in the pan. So it totally like kind of like threw me off, but not in a bad way, but just like, okay, so this is not going to be a vibrant palette. What I've learned that these shades are very on the, what is Too Faced? Too Faced is very known for on-the-go style of makeup girls. So these shades are, they look vibrant, but they're going to be very soft on the eyelids because they're meant to be popped onto on the lid, pop a color on the crease, and then boom, you have a good 1-2 eye look. So I did a full-on cut crease and everything with this palette. Thought these colors were gonna be like very bold, but they weren't. They're very soft. So I was like, okay, we're gonna lower the number down because I had a high number at first. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do like 6 looks. No, we're not gonna do 6 looks. I'm gonna bring it down to at least 4 to 5 looks using this palette. But she is a good one. But I just want to say, if you're looking for something to be vibrant, she ain't the one. These colors are very soft. So if you want to be introduced to like some colors, this will be a good palette for you then. Woo, y'all, we are down to the last palette and that is going to be the June Birthstone palette. This is the Pearl palette. So y'all know, of course, she has to be used for this month because it's the birthstone for the birthday season. This is actually the palette that I have on my eye list right now. By the time you guys see this video, this tutorial should be up. So I will be sure to make sure I leave the link down at the bottom. So be sure to check that out. And one thing I will say about all of the palettes that I mentioned in here, I will have a dedicated playlist for each brand. I already have one created for each brand already. So if you guys want to see the looks that I said that I did already using some of these palettes, I will be sure to link them down at the bottom, because I know for sure I have a Juvia playlist already. I have a Too Faced playlist already. I definitely have the Birthstone and Zodiac theme playlist as well, the ones I have created so far. If it's not down there, then that means I don't have one yet for that brand. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed and understand this video. I hope it wasn't a lot of chatting. Well, yes it was, but I hope you guys still enjoyed this video and you guys are excited to see the looks I'm going to bring to you guys using these palettes. I'm excited to go ahead and dib and dab some of these old palettes, but I'm even more excited to go ahead and find some new love for these new palettes that have been in my collection. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what palettes are you guys excited for me to use. I know I mentioned a lot of them, but give me a good like top 3, top 5 that you guys are looking for me to use. Maybe it's something that you guys have in your collection and you want to be introduced to using that palette in more like different inspired looks. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys all have a beautiful day. Stay blessed, stay amazing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully for one of these palettes. Okay, see y'all then. Bye.